Hello there, it's me again. So I'm just gonna call this like Hello, I Am Jesus Part 3 because, well, I haven't got anything particular I want to talk about, but I suppose I noticed I got a comment on one of my videos and it's a very short comment. It just says vampires on Earth, and I thought from someone, Forrest Miller. Yeah, no, that's an interesting subject, isn't it? Anyway, I just got out of bed, and it's I just got out of bed, and at 1 in the morning. I'm a very nocturnal person. I'm a very nocturnal person. I just seem to end. It doesn't matter how hard I try, I can't seem to ever get out of bed at a normal time of day. But then, the thing is, because of magic and how everything works, and the fact that we live on a planet that is, it's spinning around, right? We don't all live in the same time zones, right? So it really, my father orders my footsteps, right? So everything I do is for a reason, right? But yeah, vampires. So yeah, the world is full of people who are like vampires. People say things like, are vampires real? What are vampires? Well, think about vampires, right? They hate the sunlight, right? So what is the sunlight? Well, you could think of the light coming from the actual sun in the sky, or you could think of it as the Son of God, right? The Son of God, His light. Vampires hate them. Vampires hate it. They can't stand it. They're like, oh. It hurts them. So, what? So the world is full of people who behave like vampires, right? Because you got things like narcissists, and so you got all these people out there, it's all these people who are, and it said that in the Bible, right? It said that at the end, at the very end, people would be very, boastful and full of pride and arrogant and stuff, right? They're puffed up egos. And that's exactly what you see in the world today, right? And the thing is about that is that it's really harmful behavior, really. I mean, you think about it, and lots of times it's happened to me. I've always seemed to be the victim of the narcissist. The narcissist sees me and they're like, oh, here's my new victim. Oh, I'm going to pick on this guy, or whatever, right? It's just kind of how it happens. But the thing is because of who I am, I'm Jesus. And the demons, they're like, hey, let's all, it's just one attack after another, after another, after another. It never ends. There's like, there's, it's a very strange experience being me. But these vampires, so what do? People, they don't want to be thought of as mediocre, or, they want to think of themselves as the best of the best, people don't like to take second place, do they? They always want to be first. They always want to be number one. And so what do? They've got to feed their ego. They'll find someone that they can, make fun of, so they can find someone and say, hey, I'm better than you. I'm bigger than you. You're smaller. And then it's just like, ooh, it feels good. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. They're like, oh yeah. Yeah, vampires, basically. There's no love in that, is there really? There's no love in it, is it? It's just people not loving one another, being kind to one another. Is basically it's harmful behavior. I mean, you switch on, you look at all the music that people listen to today, you think about all the, it's all very, yeah, it's very boastful, it's very, Yeah, I mean, just go listen to like grime music and drill music. I mean, bloody hell, that stuff's awful. I can't stand that music. It really drives me crazy. But anyway, isn't it strange how grime and crime rhyme? It's funny that, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, you can learn things from art, So vampires are just a part of they're depicted in art a lot, right? In literature, movies, and this and that. Excuse me. Fucking hell. I just got up, so I'm like, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So I mean, you think of mummies. Mummies. What's a mummy? An Egyptian mummy. Something you might see at Halloween, right? Well, when I think how old was I? I must have been like 11 years old, 10, 11 years old. And that film called The Mummy came out. And it came out on the 7th of May. Now, what day would that be? Well, it just happens to be my mother's birthday. Yeah, believe it or not, believe it or not. That's when my mother was born, on the 7th of May. Funny thing is, as well, it's like, well, May is represented by the number 5. And obviously she was born on the 7th of May. Well, she died of cancer. Guess how old she was? 57. 57. Isn't that a strange coincidence? It is, isn't it? It's a bit bizarre. Now, who was my mother? Well, she was Satan, basically, right? She was Satan. You see, I mean, you think about, I've been doing a bit of research, I was reading about these Japanese Christians. I mentioned it in my previous video. And the Japanese Christians who, well, they held on to their Christian beliefs, but they hid it. So they basically camouflaged it with like Buddhist. So they would have like Buddhist paintings and Buddhist statues, or there was they basically, and they decided to pray to Mary instead of, well, yeah. So they decided to make their figure Mary, and they used to quote this figure they had. It was Mary Kanan, or Canon. I think it's spelled K-A-N-A-N, or it's something like that. Yeah, was it K-A-N-A-A-N? Anyway, so Canaan. Well, the Canaanites, right? You got Cain, you got the Canaanites, from the Bible, of course. But this Canaan god or goddess, I mean, used to be a male god and then became a female god. Well, you think about the Catholic Church, right? Everyone's worshipping Mary. They're worshipping idols. They're not supposed to be worshipping all these idols. See, they don't understand the magic. They have. I'm talking about magic here, right? These things really do matter. They really do. Like, this is how the world's set up. That's why it's so bad what they're doing. There's magical reasons for it. That's why they shouldn't be doing those things. But this is the thing, right? So Satan was my mother. But obviously, well, who's the mother of Jesus? Well, Jesus' mother is, everyone knows the mother of Jesus is Mary, the Virgin Mary, right? But what happened was, and this is another thing I was going to talk about soon. I suppose I should probably bring it up now. If you know the singer, Aaliyah, she died when she was 22 years old, okay, in a plane crash. She was a singer, right? Well, she was black. She's mixed race, I suppose. I think she was like part Native American, and yeah, she was mixed, okay? And she was, she was Mary. She is Mary. She's with me. She's with me now. She's my wife. Sounds a bit strange, right? You know, you got all these guys going around going, you mofo, you motherfucker. Yeah, well, you know, it just so happens that Mary is my wife. And actually, we've lived different lives. So when I was Tsar Nicholas II, she was my daughter. She was Anastasia. So she's been white, she's been, you know, black, she's been, anyway. She died, and, well, she was probably, yeah, she was murdered, really. Not entirely, let's not get into the specifics of that now, okay? We can talk about that later. But yeah, but this is the thing, right? So everyone's thinking, oh well, we're praying to Mary, and you know it's not a problem, and blah 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 blah. Well, this is the thing. In this lifetime, Satan was my mother. So you see, now there's this strong connection between my mother and Satan. You see, now there's this connection. There's this connection. This is how Satan worms his way in, right? Or her way in, right? It's funny, isn't it, that my mum was a lesbian? Well, you know, most people think of Satan as being a man, don't they? Or male. Yeah, just an interesting thought, right? Just a thought. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. No, she was a serious vampire. She was very narcissistic. Very, just, I mean, she used to call me like things like, when I was a little kid, you know, she treated me like an adult. And, you know, she would talk to me like I was an adult. And, you know, she'd let me watch all the horror films, and, you know, I could basically watch anything on TV I wanted. You know, and she tried to, you know, she always thought me as this smart kid she had, and, you know, she was going to mold me into what she wanted me to be, you know. She wanted me to be gay, I'm pretty sure. And she wanted me to, yeah, she wanted me to do things, she wanted me to be, you know, camp, she wanted me to be, you know, she wanted me to be very, well, she wanted me to make a lot of money. You know, she wanted me to be successful, but she wanted me to be successful in the way, you know, in a way that made her happy, right? But the thing is, when I got older and she realized I wasn't the son that she wanted me to be, she basically decided it was like a late-term abortion. It was like, you know, how do I get rid of this prick? You know, I don't like this guy anymore. He's not turning out the way I want him to be. It's funny that, isn't it? Because, you know, you obviously, you know, you hear the stories of, you know, someone who's gay, and, you know, their parents are like, you can't be gay. And, you know, that, you know, but for me, it's like, well, my parents gay. and I'm not turning out the way she wants me to turn out, right? Well, it's an interesting story though, isn't it? Let me grab a drink. Oh, yeah, I've still got sinus problems ever since I was younger because, well, that's the thing. Like, before I even left home, I had a mother who was just surrounded by drugs, basically. Anyway, she had a major ketamine problem. If you know what ketamine is, it's a horse tranquilizer. Well, you've heard about the four horsemen of the apocalypse, right? Horse, right? Horse tranquilizer. So, and that's the interesting thing about ketamine. Well, break down the word ketamine. So what does it mean? So you got K. Well, K could mean, maybe it means king. And then you got ETA. What does ETA mean? Expected time of arrival. And then it's mean, M-I-N-E. Ketamine. Or K-E-T-A, mine. Now, what does Jesus say about the second coming? He says, only my Father knows when I'm coming. So, we've taken all these drugs. I don't do this stuff anymore. This was a long time ago. But, we had all these, you think about Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yeah, my sinuses are, terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I just, yeah, not good. Not good. My mum had friends who had their bladders removed because of how much ketamine they took. And that's the thing, my mother abused me, being the vampire that she was, she abused me. And she didn't prepare me for the life that I needed, that I was trying to live. She was trying to, she was just trying to, she was trying to, do you know what I mean? Like, it really messed me up. It really, she really made my life hell. And, this is the thing. Ketamine, they say it's probably like the most powerful antidepressant you can find. They even, I always hear the odd, occasional news article about it, saying, oh yeah, well these doctors are like, yeah, it's like, literally, because with most antidepressants, you have to take like a course of it for like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And for some people, it actually makes them suicidal. But ketamine, it's just like, it's such a powerful antidepressant. And is it any wonder people get hooked on it? For people who are who are very depressed, oh wow, it's a very difficult thing to get away from. So anyway. But yeah, I'm just trying to explain things. I'm trying to explain how they have these weird, like, magical connections that seem a bit silly at first, but when you look at all of them and you see how they all connect together, well, it begins to make sense, This world, for me, understanding this world, it's always been this giant dot connecting exercise. And that's the thing, when I was in my mid-20s, and I'm like, what the hell's going on in this world? Like, why is all this crazy stuff happening, I always thought, like, 9/11 was probably, like, a conspiracy theory or something. And, and here we go. So when did Aaliyah die in a plane crash? Okay, she died when she was 22, and this was back in the year 2001. And the date was the 25th of August, I believe. and it's the 22nd of August today. So we're almost 22 years. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some very bizarre, interesting things happening in the world over the next couple of days, couple of weeks. Hey, I don't know. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. But, yeah, so 9/11, right? So just like, 2 weeks before 9/11, Aaliyah dies in a plane crash. She was coming back from the Bahamas, and she was in she was put into this tiny little plane that was apparently overweight. It had been overloaded, and it came crashing down. It barely left the runway, apparently. Yeah, and then and then 2 weeks later, there was the 9/11 plane crashes, right? So the buildings came down. So her birthday is, she was born on the 16th of January, which is 1/16, right? If you're thinking about it in terms of, how in America, that's how they would know it. They have the month and then the day, right? 1/16. Well, if you flip that upside down, you get 9/11, right? You see how that works? Yeah, it's and if you think about it, so, everyone used to talk about how George Bush, well, he's a Skull and Bones, he's a member of the Skull and Bones Secret Society, right? And if you look at the Skull and Bones Secret Society, they have like this number, which is 322. Okay, so Aaliyah died when she was 22. Okay, and what's the year we're in? 2023. So that's it. 2 2s and a 3, right? 322, 223. A little bizarre, right? Just a little bizarre. So what does the Skull and Bones thing mean? Isn't it interesting? You've got all these films that come out called The Purge, and you've got all these musicians and celebrities, like singing or rapping, and they're talking about the purge, the purge, the purge, the purge, the purge, right? And so, essentially, you think about how rich people are basically, they live behind, they've got bunkers, they've got gated communities, they've got, they can totally segregate themselves from the rest of society, and the rest of society is just like going bang, 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 die. Everyone's like wanting to kill. Do you know what I mean? Rioting, looting. You think about all these rich people, they've got like bunkers full of food that last them, they've got all the food and water they need to live the rest of their life, probably, if they wanted. They've got so much money, right? Essentially, people are asleep at the steering wheel. What the hell's going on in this world? We got secret societies, Satan worshippers, who are, seem to be leading everyone around, right? Yeah, and people are like, I don't believe in Jesus, yo. Or, yeah. Look at Kanye West. And that guy, that guy is such a snake. Now you wonder why these celebrities, they call their kids certain names, right? He called his daughter North. Now why the hell would he call his daughter North, do you think? And his surname is West, right? North, West, Northwest. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It's all magic. It's magic. Yeah. I mean, look at my name. Okay. So my name is Grant Salvin. Salvin was a name that was given to saints originally. Well, how did my name get to this country? That's an interesting one. So in 1066, there was the Norman Conquest, right? So my name is it's like Norman. It came over with by, I think it was somebody. It was like an earl, a member of royalty, and their name was like Josias Le Flamand, which basically means like Jesus the Flemish. Jesus the Flemish. Flemish? Oh, anyway, which is sort of like, I don't know, like Dutch or something, like Dutch, you know, it just gets to, you know, whatever. But anyway, but yeah, the surname that came from from Josias Le Flamand, the descendants opened like monasteries, and then the name Salvin came about in this particular country, in that lineage. Anyway, the name Salvin is very like the word salvation, isn't it? Salvation. There's a 3-letter difference between Salvin and salvation. That being O-A-T. Oat. Okay, so oat is a crop, right? You know, you eat oats, right? A horse likes to eat oats, right? And you know the parable about, so at the end of the world, we're going to have the wheat and the tares, or the wheat and the chaff, right? And so the tares, they're going to be gathered, so the wheat is going to be gathered into the barn, and then the tares will be cast into the fire, right? So yeah, crop. I mean, for instance, I'm looking for a camera right now, right? Maybe if I change the settings on the camera, it might crop the video. It might zoom it in or zoom it out, or, isn't that interesting? It crops the image. Would you like to crop your image? Would you like to crop it? So, it's magic. What I'm talking about here is like, so when people, people don't understand the magic that they're doing. That's kind of just how the world has been set up, really. So everyone's sort of like disguising themselves in ways that they probably shouldn't. But that's just kind of how it's been done, right? So people don't understand that they do all these things, and why they get so obsessed with doing certain things and this and that and everything. They don't understand why they just do. The thought pops into their head and then they just do it, and they don't understand anything. They just do what they do, like good little robots, basically. It's funny, isn't it, though, that we're living in the age of AI, and we're all talking about AI is going to take over, and this and that, and blah de blah. So what is, it's really interesting. You look at someone called, so IShowSpeed, he's this internet streamer, and I notice he likes to go on this particular website, and he likes to, it's like a webcam thing, and he'll talk to like different people. He'll just like click next, and it will speak to some. I've never been on that website, right? But I looked it up the other day. I'm thinking, what the hell is this? Like, who goes on this stuff, right? And it's ome.tv, or I think that's how it's pronounced. Omi. It's spelled O-M-E. So, people say, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Who's O? Who's O? Who is O? Right? Who's O? Isn't it interesting? Someone will go on the website, it says OMe.tv. Right? Have you ever seen the film Pi? I lived a life kind of like, if you've ever watched that film Pi, which is it Darren Aronofsky? I think it's Darren Aronofsky film. It's like in black and white, and it's this guy, he's this computer techie guy. He never goes outside, basically. He spends most of his time inside, and he has like ants crawling around his home, which is interesting because my name's Ant. Yeah, Ant. Ant is part of my first name. But anyway, he's got ants everywhere. He's got bugs everywhere, and he's like, he's basically trying to figure out patterns and mathematics, and he's trying to figure out the stock market and stuff like that. And well, that's kind of what I was doing for a while. I was learning about Elliott wave theory and technical analysis and stuff, because I was trying my best to put myself in a position that I could make money from home, because working with people in offices was not working out for me at all. It was going really, really, really badly, basically. So I had my reasons, right? But anyway, yeah. There's certain things I want to talk about, and there's certain things that I don't really want to talk about, if I'm being honest. Let's go back to this film, Pi. So what is Pi? It's interesting, isn't it? So, Stephen Hawking, he died on Pi Day, didn't he? He died on the 14th of March, because, pi is like 3.14 blah de blah de blah de blah, right? It's an enormous sequence of numbers. Like, I don't think anyone's ever managed to calculate the entire thing, I guess. But anyway, it's an interesting film. It talks about things like gematria. Like if you look at like the Bible and you calculate everything with numbers and this and that, and you can find little secrets, and there's like little codes here and there and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of when I say I'm like Neo from the Matrix, right? Well, it's kind of like, it's like a blend of these two things, right? It's like I'm able to see things that people don't see, right? And I'm able to go, yeah, I see how this connects. I see how this works. And ultimately, I can look at people and I can think, yeah, I can see what you're doing over there. I can just, I can spot certain things that people don't see. Yeah. Anyway, it's really interesting. I was thinking about this story earlier on. My Facebook page, I was doing this giant dot connecting exercise. If you've ever seen the film Deja Vu, it's basically a film about it's Denzel Washington, right? And he's like a cop, and there's this ferry that blows up, and then he meets these bunch of like government people who are trying to stop this thing from happening by looking into the past. They have this machine that can look into the past, and they're looking at this woman from like 4 days in the past. And this is all based in like New Orleans. I used to have family in New Orleans, actually, a long time ago. I went there when I was about 5 years old, in the USA. Yeah, funny that, isn't it? Oh yeah, Katrina. Oh yeah, I remember that one. Okay, so, isn't it interesting? California getting tropical storms and they're getting earthquakes at the same time. Bloody hell. But anyway, so deja vu. There's this point. So they're looking at this woman through this time machine thing. They're looking into the past. And Denzel Washington's like, what's going on here? So he gets like this laser pointer and he points it through the screen. And the woman, she sees it because it's like a portal. And she's like, what the hell? And I did this with my Facebook page. And there's this crazy tarot reader who's based in New Orleans, who's like really giving me, really annoying the shit out of me, basically. And so I was doing this sort of like dot connecting magic exercise with my Facebook page, and you can literally look at like the things she was saying, like it was like, wow, like her thumbnails, like I can't remember what it was, but yeah, no, it's like our heads were glued together or something. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like I mean, my Facebook page is just full of examples like that. That was the whole reason I did it, just to show people how the world revolves around me, basically, and how people intercept my thoughts and feelings, and they mimic me in all these strange ways. It's really fucking crazy. It's the craziest shit you'll ever see, probably. Well, it's some of the craziest shit you'll ever see. Considering the future is going to be even crazier, probably. But, yeah. Yeah, that Facebook page. This is the thing, right? So this year, it's been very cold in the UK. The weather's been, everyone's been like, when's it going to be summer? Like, where did summer go? The beginning of summer, I bought, well, just before summer, I suppose, it was starting to get hot. It got to like 25 degrees Celsius. And I'm like, ooh, I don't want to be sweating all summer again. So I got myself a portable air conditioner. And it's been cold ever since. Ever since I bought that thing, it's just been cold outside. Last year, it was really hot, and I was wearing sunglasses indoors the entire year. Yeah, I was basically just told to wear sunglasses by the spirits. They're like, yeah, wear your sunglasses. And it was 40 degrees Celsius last year. And I wore sunglasses indoors the entire time. I didn't even wear these. Isn't it interesting, right? So, glasses. So, son of God, he wears glasses. And everyone wants to wear their sunglasses, right? What kind of magic and sorcery do you think's going on there? Huh? It's an interesting thought, though, isn't it? I have eyes to see. Really? Or do you just have a pair of sunglasses? You know what I mean? I'm just trying to give an example. This is, and what do people do? They put on sunblock, don't they? They put on their sunblock. They don't want to get sunburned. They don't want to get sunburned. No. Don't want to get cast into the lake of fire. Well, you know what I'm saying. It's just an interesting thought, isn't it? How bizarre. Isn't it bizarre? And this is the thing, like, and people say, I don't believe in God. I mean, just look at our language. Look at how our language is set up. It's like, what is the probability of all these things interconnecting and being so, like, how would how would any human have made it, something that's just that intricate, that's that well designed. How can you explain that stuff away without being like, yeah, God made our language. Yeah, he definitely did. Yeah. Yeah, I see me wearing this Star Wars t-shirt. Not my favorite t-shirt. I have to say, I need to do a bit more clothes shopping, I think. But anyway, I need a bit of a makeover. But anyway, Star Wars. Star Wars. Yeah, the lights and the dark. Yeah, good and evil. Darth Vader. Well, you know, I guess I'm kind of like Darth Vader. You know, you know, yeah, I can't. I'm like, you know, I'm the one who's supposed to bring balance to the force, right? I'm the one who's supposed to, you know, I'm good, and then I turn to evil, and then maybe at the end, well, we don't know. We'll see. But basically, that's kind of what's happening here. Yeah, the force, right? I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't, do you know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. You know, to most people, they don't really see me as like a dangerous person, right? Well, you know what I mean? Like, spiritually, you know, well, my God, you know, my Father, God, you know, what kind of power do you think God has? Like, you can literally just, you know, it's you know, plane crashes. You know how many plane crashes there have been? You know, just all these crazy stories. Yeah, yeah. Oof. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Right. You think about it. Yeah. So 9/11, that happened. It was like my first week at boarding school. When I left London and went to boarding school. I went to a school called Charterhouse. Charter House. Well, do you know what a chartered flight is? Yeah. I remember just a couple of weeks before I went to Charterhouse, my mum's friend, we were on holiday together in Andorra. We went, no, was it? Well, it was about the same year. It was probably earlier in the year, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, they said, hey, you want to read this book? Oh, it's a really fantastic book. I really enjoyed reading it. Guess what book it was? Harry Potter. Harry Potter. And I'm like, nah, not really my thing, really. But you know, the school I went to, I guess, you know, it's very similar to, you know, Hogwarts. Huge school, you know, loads and loads of pitches. You know, we've got a golf course. We've got a leisure centre that's been opened by the Queen. Yeah, all that stuff. All that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So, Charterhouse. Well, you know, that's the thing, right? I was looking at learning to trade for a living. So, you know, you look at charts, you know, the pound versus the dollar, or, you know, the gold or whatever it is, right? Let's not get into the specifics. But anyway, yeah, Charterhouse. I went there for 3 years. It's a very nice school to look at, but the people, the kids, ugh, I'm glad. Yeah, they're not really. Some of them are okay, but you know, the thing is that, you know, it was like spoilt brat. You know, I mean, you know, that's the thing. These people, you know, they got kids that just, yeah, you know, they don't know what it is to be poor. They don't know what it is to be, yeah, they're just filthy rich people, and they couldn't give a crap about anyone else. That's basically how it goes. It's like, well, I'm elite, yo. You're not. There you go. I mean, some of these people are so dumb as well. Like, you know what I mean? Their IQ is so low. You think, bloody hell. It's like, how did your family get so rich then? Like, where did you get all that money? Bloody hell. Do you know what I mean? It's nothing worse than seeing a whole bunch of people who are really stupid with so much money. I mean, it's just, oh. I mean, you think about all these celebrities who are extremely stupid, but they just have so much money, right? They have so much of it. It's like unbelievable. And you look at all the stupid things they do and the stupid things they say. And, yeah, well, whatever. Yeah. So, what's happening in the world? What is happening in the world? Well, there's definitely, people are like, people really think that everything's going to be okay, but completely fucking insane. Sorry to say that, but it's true. You people are being lined up for this look, Whoa. Do you people not see it coming? Like the the world you live in. War, poverty, rioting, looting, not to mention all the, all the laws they're bringing in. You can't say this, you can't say that. They're basically just, like cutting off your limbs one at a time until you've got nothing left. There's nothing you can do. You're just gonna have to just sit there and just take it. You can't do anything. They're they are planning something. They've been building up to this, and they're just gonna keep going until they, for as long as they think they can get away with it. Hey, that's what I'm here for, right? I'm here to say, hey, I'm Jesus. If people actually start listening to me, the sooner people listen to me, and the sooner that people recognize the power that's, God, the sooner we can resolve these problems. But unless people, it's just going to take time, isn't it? Essentially. I mean, you got all these secret society members and all these evil fuckers, right? You think they can get away with what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They absolutely know what they're doing. They were put into positions of power because they know, they have to join the club if they want to get to, a certain level of status, right? That's pretty much how it goes. Right? Yeah. 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 It's really bad. You look at the past, all the things that have happened in the past, and you can think about all the times that people have been lied to about stuff. People still have, there's so many things that people haven't figured out yet. They just, the lies were told in the past, and people are like, oh yeah, well, I'm stupid, and, I didn't need to know that shit, or whatever. It's like, well, people making some big mistakes. Your parents or grandparents made huge mistakes too, and didn't figure stuff out and didn't pass the right information along. It's one of those things that people don't learn from history. Yeah, well, you're just going to repeat the same mistakes over and over again, unfortunately. Yeah. I suppose the biggest, look at Russia right now. Isn't it interesting? So we got Putin. What does it mean to put it in? Put in. Put in. What did God say? He says, like, you get married first, yeah? Don't fornicate. Don't be going around sticking it wherever you feel like, right? Putin, right? Putin. Interesting, isn't it? He's the one who's got the Satan 2 intercontinental ballistic missile, and he's like, I'm gonna push the button, man. I'm gonna blow up your country. Yeah, it's very interesting. Because Putin's spokesman, well, it's a guy called Dmitry, and he was saying on his television, saying on the Russian television, that they were going to explode a nuclear weapon under the sea to the west of Britain, and then it would cause a huge, like, nuclear radioactive tsunami that would just wipe out our country. Well, it's very interesting because my mum had some artwork that was in the house, before she died, and I got rid of it. I got a picture of it somewhere, but I had this huge painting in my bedroom, and it was signed at the bottom, Dmitry, and it's a painting of all these people who are like at the beach, and it looks like an enormous tidal wave coming their way. And I actually, I live quite close to the beach, not that far, but I live next to the sea. Yeah. And this is the thing, this is how I say, my life, my surroundings, everything that goes on around me is reflected in the real world. And when I'm talking about nuclear, so nuclear, I'm talking even like nuclear weapons here and stuff like that. God controls everything. God could do way worse than a nuclear weapon. Do you know what I mean? Like, think about it. Like, what if the sun just stopped working? Or, we got hit by a massive meteor or an asteroid or something, or a comet, right? Anything like that. Or, a massive, disease that just kills everyone in the world, or whatever, right? I mean, there's so many bad things that could happen, right? Anyway, I've had a real ramble, haven't I? Bloody hell. Yeah. Yep. I think what I'm going to do actually is, I've got stuff I need to do, but very soon in the near future, I'm going to start streaming to Twitch, and playing Street Fighter 6, probably. And, I guess some people will come by and they'll be like, yeah, who the hell are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm Jesus. I'm playing some Street Fighter 6. You want to watch? You want to talk? Yeah, why not? It gets a few extra viewers, doesn't it, really? Perhaps. Yeah. And that's the thing I like to do all day long. Play Street Fighter 6. I mean, might as well keep myself entertained, huh? Well, I'm waiting for everyone to pay attention to me. Yeah. What did we talk about? Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at this, because, Aaliyah, she's my wife, right? And there was a point in time when I realized that was who was with me. I've got these spirits that are around me, and I'm like, so who are you? Why are you here? Like, what are you, why are you attached to it? Why are we doing this? And eventually it was figured out. And it's hard to believe. It's like when you got someone in front of you who's invisible, you got a spirit in front of you, it's like, really? It's like, so we just figured it out. It's kind of hard to, for that to stick in the head and be like, okay then. But, as time's gone on and I've looked at all the stories and everything's built up and everything's gone, it all, everything connects together, and it's like, yeah. So what was, there was, I've been watching R. Kelly going to trial and getting sent to prison. What an asshole that guy was, huh? You think about all the people like, he's innocent, yo. You can't lock that guy up. It's okay, he can be a monster if he likes. We don't care. If he wants to rape children or, or this or that, why should we care? He makes good CDs and stuff. I like his albums, yo. That's all that matters, yo. He got money. He can do what he wants. You can't stop him, yo. I mean, shit. What the fuck? You know what I mean? This is the world we live in right now. That's the power that some of these people have. Like, literally, they can just go around doing all kinds of sick, horrible, nasty things. Nobody cares. Or a lot of people don't care. They're like, oh, well, well, he's a star. He's like God. You can't touch him. He shouldn't be in jail, yo. He shouldn't be in jail. Did you not hear that song he made? I mean, just go listen to his music. It's fucking dirty and, he basically talks about who he is in all his songs. Pretty much. If you can read between the lines. Ark. That's the thing, right? I'm Archangel Michael. So when you say R. Kelly, what are you saying? You're saying Ark. R. Kelly. Ark. R. Kelly. Ark. You hear? Do you hear the sound? Right? You hear the sound. Well, that's the thing. What does L mean? L means God. Right? El is like the ancient Hebrew word for God, basically. It's like a generic word for God. That's my understanding. Don't, but you can go look it up if you want the specific details. Okay, don't expect me to get I'm not like a walking, talking textbook here. Okay, let's just make that clear. Yeah. Well, what world we live in, huh? No. Yeah, I really just try to keep to myself, really. Like, I go shopping at night. I don't go out on weekends because I don't want to get stuck in traffic with all these people. I don't want to go any. If I want to go out, I'll go out like on a weekday. If it's a weekend or if it's like a bank holiday or something like that, I ain't going outside. It ain't happening. Just not interested in encountering that many people. They just annoy me. I really do. Yeah. So, I live in the southwest of England now, in a place called Weston-super-Mare. Or you could say, well, what's a mare? A mare is a horse, right? Or you could pronounce it Mary, right? Mary, right? Weston-super-Mare. It's where my mum chose to live, actually. It's where my mother who died 2 years ago, that's where she decided she wanted to live. It's where I grew up when I was a little kid, actually. And then before I moved to London. And then I moved to Brighton after London, which is like the gay capital of the UK. And that was where I spent all my party years, basically. I was just like party. And then, anyway, I'm just waffling now. Waffle. Waffle House. Oh, wow, waffles. Can't remember a lot. No, actually, waffle. Right. I'm doing some shit. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've got some housework to do, so I better get on with it. I better do some today, because I'm living in Dumpsville right now. So yeah, it's grimy, grime. Oh yeah, and there's that star. So Elon Musk, he was I think, was he married to her? I guess he was married to her. Grimes. Or he certainly had kids with her anyway, didn't he? She did that song, Shinigami Eyes. Yeah. Oh, she's just a witch. Just a witch. Player of Games. There's another one. Oh, and another song she did, Genesis. Yeah, and some other stuff. I mean, you just look at all these music videos, right? They're just full of, like satanic, like witchcraft, and, there's just like average, regular people notice this stuff, right? They're like, oh yeah, isn't that strange? I mean, they make it so blatantly obvious. And that's the thing. It doesn't make any difference. People are still like, yeah, I like this shit, yo. This stuff's great. Yeah, funny, isn't it? Well, people should know what time it is. People should have figured that out a long time ago. People should have been asking questions for many, many years. And people who have, that's the thing. Most people will never question it. Most people will be like, everything will be okay. There's nothing to worry about. I didn't see anything. I don't see nothing. Kind of attitude. God has given people plenty chances to pull their head out of the sand and be like, oh yeah, look at all this crazy stuff that's going on. Maybe I better get right with God. And how many have, and how many haven't? At some point, God's going to just have to say, well, done now. You had your chances. Yeah. It's very obvious that most people will never change. They'll never change, right? They'll just never change. And that's that. What's God supposed to do with them? Well, they are the chaff, aren't they? They're the chaff. So they're going to have to be, they're going to be cast into the fire. Whatever that means, right? What does that mean? Well, we'll have to find out. That day will come. People will begin to realize what was meant by that. So we'll find out. We'll find out together. I do actually want to quit smoking. I would like to. You see, the thing about, there's a lot, you have to understand, there's a lot of black magic and sorcery that's aimed at me. I'm being attacked by all the, yeah. So basically, I'm always under attack in terms of magic. Yeah, all the time. Ooh, all the time. Yeah. So, it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, So, I do want to quit smoking, but let's just say it's been hard. It's been hard. Very hard. But hey, yeah. Yeah. I have actually quit a few times. I used to be a vapor for a bit. But, yeah. I prefer smoking. I don't like vaping. I really don't like it. I can't stand it. I think it tastes awful, and it's all really watery and sticky, and I think it, caused me just as many problems as smoking, to be honest. Anyway, what do I? Maybe I should do some videos where I'm like, we can look at some pictures and some videos. I can run some commentary on some stuff and do some of that. Maybe that would be interesting. I'll have to come up with some ideas, right? I'll have to think of some ideas. I mean, look at that guy. I was watching IShowSpeed. I'm just looking at. I mean, that guy is just. If people can't recognize that as a demon, then they're totally blind. Well, of course, he's got like 20 million followers, right? He's got 20 million, well, almost 20 million followers. It's like 19.6. And then there was that other guy, what was his name? Kai Kanat, or whatever his name was, and he was doing that doing that giveaway in Union Square in New York, and he got arrested. And you just see like all the people that turned up. It's like, who are those people? It's like, why do they worship that guy? I mean, that guy is just like a complete degenerate, right? Like, just crap. I mean, just look at his content. It's just shite. It's just garbage. It's a heap of shite. And everyone's like, wow, this stuff's great, yo. I like watching this crap. This meaningless shite. And it's just totally meaningless garbage, you know what I mean? And it's basically just someone who's just acting like a crazy demon-possessed person, And they'll do anything for views. Anything. That they think they can get away with. And, that's basically the sort of, there's that guy in the UK he was taken to court. He's called Mizzy, black kid, right? And he was, he like go up to an old lady in the park and steal her dog, and and you just do it for views, for social media views, just so he's just basically acting like a menace to people, just so he can get views. I mean, the fact that people want to watch that crap, the fact that people can, it's like, what's going on in the world? Do you really think that this is how society should conduct itself? You know what I mean? Like, it's really not cool. It's really not cool. I mean, I can kind of, it's not. I mean, it's not even funny. It's just stupid. I mean, he just sounds like a moron, a total moron. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got nothing else going for him, so he might as well just do it. Then, I suppose. Doesn't want to be bloody hell. But what? It's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. The fact that people would watch such shite and think, oh yeah, this is worthy of my time. Yeah, I mean, millions and millions and millions and millions of people, apparently. But look at all these people who turned up to Union Square to get their, free gaming computers and free consoles, and before you know it, they're like rioting and smashing cars and smashing windows and fighting, and it's like a riot. What, just for a games console, just for a, I mean, that's the thing, right? You put certain people in a large group all together, they all suddenly become very brave people, they're all like, oh yeah, You know, I'm just gonna smash some stuff. I'm gonna break this. I'm gonna smash that. Yo, woo. You know, why do they go to act like that? Why do they act like a bunch of, well, you know, fill in the blank. You know, fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. Come on. I mean, what these, you know, that kind of behavior, well, you know, that's not, you know, what's going on in the world? What's going on in the world? People should be worried. If people aren't worried, you know, and I suppose that is the thing. I think there are quite a lot of people who are worried, but they haven't really gone far enough. They haven't really, they're like, oh, I don't like this. But they didn't, you know, they didn't get right with God. They didn't do what they were meant to do, right? You know, when are they going to do it? You know, is it going to take another century for them to get to that point? You know, how much stuff needs to happen before they you know, they get on with it and just get it done and just do what they need to do. You know, how long's God got to wait for these people to come back to him? And then you got most people who are just totally unbothered. You know, they're just like, wow, that's terrible. You know, or, you know, I don't care, whatever. You know, and then they just go back to their self-obsessed lives, I suppose. You know, where they just, you know, all they care, you know, most people, all they care about is having friends and, you know, people to have sex with, having a good time, you know, got plenty of money, yeah, fun things to do, yeah, that's it, that's all they want. That's literally all they want. That's all they want. There's nothing else. Yeah, there is nothing else. There's really nothing else. Anyway. And so we got a world full of people who are essentially like that. And the thing is when things don't go their way, when things start to get bad for them, what kind of things do they do? You know, like, they got no morals, for a start. They don't love God, and they'll do anything to get what they want. You know, it's kind of like the snake that eats itself. You know, so, you know, when times are good, the snake's all happy, right? But when the snake isn't happy and doesn't get what it wants, the snake will eat itself. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the thing. All these people, they'll end up all just eating each other, basically, or, you know, killing each other, or fighting each other, should I say, right? Whatever. But yeah, I mean, you know, where's the love, yo? Where's the love? There is none. You know, love's important. Love is important. You know, that's why that's why I came. Told, you know, hey, love thy neighbor, love your enemy, blah blah blah. But what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen when people can't count on each other? You know, people are selfish. You know, they're only interested in saving themselves. Blah de blah de blah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, isn't it crazy? So, oh, you know, there's so many things I'd like to talk about. There's so many things I'd like to talk about. Okay, let's just talk about, you know, people who resist arrest. Okay, so you got people who resist arrest. They're like, I didn't do nothing. You can't do that to me. You can't arrest me. You better defund the police, yo. You better defund the police. You can't arrest my type of person. You can't arrest this kind of person. Blah, 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 blah. You're just racist, yo. You know, what's going on there? Like, what's going on? Really? Like, does no one think that that's not strange? Does that not like alarm? Does that not ring alarm bells in people's heads? And they're like, yeah. You know, if a policeman said to me, "Hey, Grant, you're under arrest," I would be like, okay. You know, as long as I know you are, in fact, the policeman. Yeah, you're not just someone dressed up as a policeman, pretending to be someone you're not. Yeah, you know, I would just be like, well, that's just how, you know, things are gonna go, I suppose. You know, I'm not gonna resist. I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna fight you. I'm just gonna come peacefully. You know, why is it so many people seem to struggle with that? You know, and they want to, you know, as soon as the officer gets anywhere near them, they're like, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Don't touch me, I'm dying. You know, like fucking hell. You know, what is this? Why is this all happening? Why is it when, you know, I'm watching a video of a London McDonald's, and there's like the security, or I think it was police. They're like arresting a young black man, and then all his black friends. See, the police are like wrestling with this black kid, trying to get him down the ground, trying to cuff him, and all his friends around him are like, get off him, and they're like kicking the police officers and stuff, and it's like, yeah, but do you know what I mean? It's like just as a group, certain group, you know, they don't seem to respect that, you know, we have police, and that, you know, you know, there's certain people that just don't want to abide by the law, and it doesn't matter how bad one of them, you know, do you know what I mean? Like, they'll stick up for anyone who's a criminal. They'll just say, well, they were innocent. And I was like, no, they were a criminal, that's why they were being arrested. It's like, no, they were innocent. No, they were innocent. So, why? Why do they do that? Yeah, why do they do it? Well, demons. Demons. And if people can't recognize that situation for what it is, demons, just demons. Demons. That's all you need to know. Demon possessed. And, you know, you should know who you're dealing with. You know, anyone who's like, no, you're wrong, yeah, no, demon. Just don't get involved with them. You know, okay, you might have to deal with them from now and again, right? But just keep your distance. You know, do yourself a favor. You know, do yourself a favor. Stay well clear of the demons, as much as you humanly possible. You know, well, you know, don't surround yourself with demons. You know, unnecessarily. Like, why would you want to? Oh, hey demons, you want to go hang out? Hey demons, you want to go down the pub? Hey demons, let's go clubbing. Oh, hey demons, you want to come around and get high? You know what I mean? Like, just don't do it. Look, if people can't recognize the truth for what it is, you know, there's been millions of examples. It's again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Fucking hell. You know, it's one rule for some people, and it's another rule for another. You know, it's another set of rules for other people. You know, oh, you can't do this to us. You can't do that to us. No, no, you can't, no. We want special rules, yo. We want special rules. We want this. We want that. Nah. Look, look at history. Who has been blessed? Who has not been blessed? Now, why do you think God did that? You know, this is the thing. Well, this is the thing. Why did God choose for things to be the way that they were? Think about it. Think about it. Why would he bless some people and not others? Hey, what's hell? What's hell, yo? What's hell? It's a good question. See, the thing is, you can obviously see, you look at the world, some people are only incapable, most people will never come to God. Most people will not. They're not interested. They're just not interested. Plain and simple. And they'll never change. And, yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. God did a lot of loving things for people, and they're like, I don't need you. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Whatever, yo. Well then, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you think how many, you look at certain places in the world and you look at their churches and you think, why do those people go to church? So the only reason they go there is because they're looking for some money, They're looking for prosperity and wealth and, anyway, all I'm saying is be very careful who you associate with and who you trust, because the demons are very, very real, and just be careful. Open your eyes, look at what people do, look at what people say. Are these people trying to think, do these people behave like they're God? Are these people, do these people have an ego problem? This is the thing, right? You can tell if someone's oh, excuse me. Sorry. Anyway, you can tell if someone's demon possessed. See, you just got to test them, right? If they've got an ego problem, for instance, and they're very defensive when it comes to their ego, and stuff like that, right? You could test them in that way, perhaps, Yeah. Well, no, well, do you know what I mean? Like, think, use your brain. But this is the thing, I think there's a lot of jealous people in the world. They absolutely, the world is full of jealous people. And that's the interesting thing, right? What does the Bible say? God said, I am a jealous God. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Well, that's obviously, I don't mean to take it out of context, but, I'm just making that point. But anyway, yeah, so many jealous and hateful people in the world, and they'll say whatever they want to say. They don't care about the truth. They don't give a shit about the truth. They only care about how they're perceived. How, they don't, they're trying to salvage their egos, their pride, like, how dare you make me feel, because they're so fragile as people, they're just, there's nothing there. They got their ego, there's nothing there, there's nothing going on. It's just, they know deep down they're just a pile of crap, basically, is what I'm saying. Take away their egos, there'd be nobody, there'd be no one there, basically. fucking hell. Isn't it crazy? You know, we had the COVID lockdowns, right? You know, and, you know, I'm hearing about, you know, well, it's like, yeah, I mean, people just getting so upset and so depressed because they couldn't go out for a weekend, or they couldn't see their, you know what I mean, they can't do this, they can't do that. I've been doing it for years and 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 years. Long, 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 long time. Long, long, long time. I'm like a guy who lives, you know what I mean? Like, there are people who live, who, you know, they're prisoners, who isolated prisoners who probably have better social lives than me. Seriously. I mean, that's no joke. That's not a joke. Really, it's not. Yeah. I mean, I probably have better entertainment, but, you know what I mean, at home, but still. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, this has been a very waffly video, hasn't it? Fucking hell. Well, I suppose, you know, we've touched on a lot of different subjects. I suppose, you know, that gives the opportunity for all kinds of different questions. I could, yeah, I suppose I'm sort of just not knowing what direction I'm going to go in. I think what I'll do, yeah, you know what, I'll do a Street Fighter video, I think. Maybe just do a couple of hours playing some Street Fighter 6. Probably not going to talk about me very much. I'll probably just talk about the game, perhaps. I don't know. It's a bit weird trying to talk and play at the same time, but I need to practice anyway, so I'll probably do that for a couple of hours soon. Not sure when. Might do it well, it's 3 in the morning, so whatever, right? Anyway, yeah, if you've got any questions, fire away, you know. Got anything you want to say, go on there. So, you know, happy to listen. Anyway, that'll do. I'll catch you later. Cheers.